In just a few months, Virginia's food industry has faced significant challenges. An astonishing 5 major factories have shut down across the state, with some linked to national brands you likely recognize from your pantry. This situation isn't only at the more than 1,200 layoffs. It also reflects broader implications for the future of food production, worker stability, and the economies of small towns. Let's explore this further. These closures are not occurring by chance. Some resulted from health concerns, while others stemmed from deliberate corporate consolidation. However, all of them are part of a broader transformation within the food industry. Let's begin by examining the closure that had a significant impact nationwide. In July, Boar's Head stopped production at its Jarratt facility, and by September, the closure became permanent. The reason for this was a deadly listeria outbreak connected to the plant, which resulted in the deaths of 4 people. Nearly 500 workers lost their jobs, and more than 7 million pounds of deli meat were recalled. That's an enormous amount of meat. FDA inspections revealed what they described as egregious sanitation violations. Contamination was discovered on surfaces that come into contact with food, leaving families devastated. The brand's reputation suffered significantly. Moreover, it wasn't the only company that ceased operations this year. Your K-Cups will taste the same, but it's important to know that 379 workers in Windsor will have lost their jobs by the end of 2024. The company explained that this decision is part of their strategy to optimize operations throughout their network. The Windsor facility had been operational for years, but by 2025, it has fallen silent. Keurig executives explained that other locations were simply more efficient, which is often corporate language for newer, faster, cheaper, and more automated operations. Despite K-Cups continuing to be in high demand, this closure demonstrated that even popular products can't always safeguard jobs. And Keurig isn't alone in seeking to streamline operations. In April, Cargill closed its long-standing turkey processing plant in Dayton, resulting in the loss of around 200 jobs. This plant had been supplying the national market, and suddenly it was no longer in operation. Cargill attributed this decision to a strategic protein review. The impact of this closure includes fewer jobs, reduced local production, and another gap in the community's fabric. However, this situation extends beyond just the meat industry. Let's acknowledge that these closures aren't solely about financial considerations. They're also about automation. A modern food plant, equipped with robots, can accomplish in one shift what previously required 30 workers. This approach is faster, more cost-effective, and scalable. But it also means that entire communities are left behind. More companies are choosing to follow this direction. Earlier this year, Tyson closed its Glen Allen distribution hub just outside Richmond, resulting in the layoff of over 120 employees. This event didn't receive much attention, but it's part of Tyson's broader strategy to reduce costs nationwide. As they streamline operations, workers are left to navigate the impacts. Meat producers are facing significant challenges due to rising input costs, labor shortages, and shifting consumer demand. In the past year alone, Tyson has closed over 6 facilities across the country. The closure of the Glen Allen facility is just another example of this trend. The next industry facing a similar impact is a hometown bakery brand that has recently gone silent. Wonder Bread, Tasty Cake, and Nature's Own were once baked right in Lynchburg. However, that is no longer the case. Earlier this year, Flowers Foods closed its bakery, which resulted in the loss of 65 jobs as production was moved to other locations. While the number may seem small, the impact is significant. When viewed on a larger scale, the total job losses are quite substantial. Let's break down the numbers. Boar's Head in Jarratt accounted for around 500 jobs. Keurig Dr. Pepper in Windsor had 379 jobs. Cargill in Dayton employed 200 people. Tyson in Glen Allen provided 120 jobs. Flowers Foods in Lynchburg offered 65 positions. Altogether, that's a total of 1,264 jobs lost, with nearly all of them in the food manufacturing sector and occurring within just 1 year. The impact extends beyond the employees, affecting entire communities. When a factory falls silent, the impact ripples through the community. The morning rush at the local gas station dwindles, and diners no longer sell out of biscuits by 9 a.m. Little League teams lose their primary sponsor, and the town council faces tough decisions about which services to cut next. These factories were more than just workplaces. They were the heart of the community. Regardless of where you live, changes in Virginia's local factory landscape can impact your dinner table. With fewer local factories, supply chains become longer, resulting in increased trucking and transportation costs. This ultimately leads to higher prices at the store. If you believe your $3.99 loaf of bread is unaffected, it's time to reconsider. In just 1 year, 5 closures have resulted in over 1,200 jobs lost, all within a single state. This trend reflects a larger narrative of food companies that are either shrinking, streamlining operations, or shifting their priorities. Virginia, much like many other states, finds itself in the midst of these changes. Have you observed similar closures in your area? Have there been noticeable impacts, such as higher prices, fewer local jobs, or changes in your grocery store? Feel free to share your experiences in the comments. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to The Coconut Mama on YouTube at youtube.com/@thecoconutmama for more.